So what do you say to your own caucus, to these young members? They're, obviously in tough fights, but they want to see the change.
I say just win, baby. Just win. If that's what you have to say to win, fine.
So that's Nancy Pelosi being asked by Andrea Mitchell on MSNBC about, what is she... You have her members of her own caucus saying she should step down as speaker. Pelosi says, just win. If that's what you have to say to win, fine. Welcome back to the program. Dana Loesch here with you, top of our third hour. Do you remember the people who whined about me, including some of the weak people on the right who are the reason we lose all the time, who complained about me saying that we just need to win? And they were parroting what Democrats were saying, who said it first. Oh, she just wants to win. And this is different from what I said. How?
It's not.
It's the same thing. You absolute frauds. It's the same thing. I love being more logically consistent than the people who've criticized me. They come and go, and I remain. Same thing. But see, it's only bad when Republicans say it. It's okay when Democrats say it. It's only bad when being honest about wanting to win is only okay when Democrats do it, because they don't understand. This isn't about anything other than controlling the floor. You can try to make it about whatever you want to make it about. You can try to be grandiose. You can try to say it's about this and oh. The reality is it's about controlling the floor. That's it. Everything that you claim to want to do is only possible when you control the floor. When you win the race, and you win enough races, and you win enough seats, then you win control of the floor. Very fascinating. And there are some people on the right who like to, and they've always looked down on me because I didn't go to their Ivy League schools, and I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. The same people who have looked down on me because I got my start in the streets, literally. I got my start, just grassroots organization. Oh, but we didn't go to the school for pundits, and we didn't intern on K Street. Oh, we weren't part of the right sororities and fraternities and all this other stuff. Wah, wah, wah. And look, it's because of those people who came up like I did that Republicans still have any hold on any kind of power at all. It's the only reason you got the last president that you had. But these same people were the ones who looked down on me and just decided to dogpile. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, when I said, yes, the whole point is about winning. You have to win the Senate. Oh my gosh, can you believe that? See, what does it mean to gain the whole world but lose your soul? Said one disingenuous, false, pious person. I can't stand that. I really hate it when I see modern day Pharisees twist words like that to try to promote themselves as being more pious than everyone else. Therefore, you should listen to them. I mean, I'm honest, they're not. This is a Senate race. They're congressional races. They're Senate races. This is the whole entire point. You run and you win a seat. You can try to project onto it whatever flight of fancy you desire, but the truth of the matter is that it is nothing more than a race to win a seat. That is the reality of it. I operate in reality. Now, after you win and you can control the floor, then can you demand, I want this done, I want life protected, I want this, I want my rights protected, all of that. Then you can push for that, but you can't do it until you win the seat. Very simple. And that's the problem. It's too simple for most people who are too stupid to understand. Not you all, but you know who I'm talking about. It's the same thing, but it's okay when Democrats say it. Because Democrats are allowed to want things regardless of how they get them. But when you throw it back in their face, they don't know how to handle it, and they freak out. They freak out. And you have the pearl clutchers on the right. It's infuriating to see those people. I'm so tired of seeing it. Like, for instance, I've seen some of these Z-listers. I saw this guy. I don't even know who this guy, I'm not even going to name him. He's some guy who, what is his face? Matt Lewis. I don't even know who he is. He says, reminder, Trump destroyed an entire generation of conservative rising stars. It's this whole petty piece that gets into, and it's basically a stand for Ben Sass is what it is. Ben Sass, he's leaving to become president of the University of Florida, and they go into these people, oh, they were all, et cetera, et cetera. A generation of rising conservative stars. They were ruined. No, I don't think so. And there was somebody else that had responded to it and said, the bigger story is how Trump destroyed an entire generation of political operatives. Almost every 20-something who came of age. I'm not giving this guy the 15 minutes that he desires by naming him. I'm just going to riff off his tweet. Almost every 20-something who came of age during his campaign thinks pettiness and immaturity is how politics and governing works. No, I don't think so. Now, some do. There are exceptions to every rule. But I'll have you note that these were the same people back in 2010, even before then, who were quiet. Do you know when the IRS was moving to go after people who were trying to create groups like the Richmond Tea Party or True the Vote down in Houston that was organizing to clean up voter rolls? There were dead people who were legitimately voting 10 years after they were dead. I'm not making this up. There are receipts galore. It's on the internet. You had Democrats in Congress who were weaponizing these agencies. This has been going on for a long time. They went after them, made their lives hell. What about the John Doe raids in Wisconsin? Do you all remember those? Some of you probably never even heard of them. You should Google those. That was right around the time of the Scott Walker recall. You had a far left progressive DA who decided that they were going to go after the people who had helped Scott Walker in his recall effort. This laid the foundation for what was done in 2016. They raided people's homes in the middle of the night. The families were gagged. They weren't allowed to talk about it. There was a major fight, and they finally, years later, had to admit wrongdoing. There was one father, his kids were ripped out of their beds and had guns pointed at their heads. This is all public information. Drug out in the yard in the middle of the night, and interestingly enough, to the glare of the lights, news cameras were there, tipped off. Where have we seen that before? What ended up happening after that, it was the grassroots who stood up and fought back. We were tired of it, but we were told that we were lowbrow. I can't tell you how many times I've been told that, but I'm a brawler, though. I have no desire to be a statesman. I like what I do. I enjoy what I do. I know what I know. And if there's something I don't know, I will bring someone on to tell you about it. But these people who stay in their glass offices on K Street, these people who had a very meticulous upbringing, Tupperware fresh, who've never actually had to do the work for the shots that they call in their boardrooms, they don't get it. They didn't want to fight back. They didn't fight back on behalf of voters. It was the grassroots people who did. It was the grassroots people who publicized what was going on with John Doe raids. It was the grassroots people who publicized what was happening with the IRS and the Tea Party. It was the grassroots people who publicized what was happening with Elijah Cummings and all of the alphabet of the government agencies who were coming down on people who were simply doing their due diligence as free citizens and had every right to do. It was the grassroots who fought back. And the grassroots also fought back against the Republican establishment who thought we just have to keep mum and go along to get along. Well, people were tired of going along to get along, because in the going along and the getting along, people's livelihoods were being trampled underneath. Their reputations were being trampled underneath. And interestingly enough, a lot of the establishment used that as a way to control challenges. And that's what they're reacting to still today. They were upset because their apple cart of influence peddling was disrupted and upturned. It was entirely upended, and they're mad still. No, I think the pettiness and the immaturity is very clearly on display in the characters and the commentary of the people who were quiet, and they were happy enough to go along and get along with their bylines and their convention speech slots. They were happy to go on the cruises for other quote unquote thought leaders and their political ideology. They were happy to rub shoulders at the cocktail parties and go to the galas with their gowns and tuxes. Those people. Because they didn't have to live in the world that they were opining on that everyone else lived in. And now they have the audacity to criticize the very people who did go out and make the change. The people who saved their control, their government in 2010, and who are going to do it again for midterms. They're mad more than anything because they themselves lost influence. And they would rather sacrifice a secured future of the country at the altar of their own ego. That, if you want to have a discussion about pettiness and immaturity, is the perfect crystal clear picture precisely.